A billion people are hungry, and if you count obese and overweight people alongside those with micronutrient deficiencies, 3 billion people are not eating well, according to the United Nations Food and Agricultural Organization. In order to change our food system on a global scale, we must bridge the gap between the imbalance of malnutrition, obesity, and food that is wasted. In the next 12 years, the world's population is anticipated to grow another 1 billion. That would bring the total population to 8.2 billion people. According to economist Julian Simon, we now have the technology to feed, clothe, and supply energy to an ever growing population for the next 7 billion years. And contrary to conventional wisdom, population growth would actually increase the food supply, for with more people would come more ideas and inventions. In Boise, Idaho, 53,000 tons of food waste is sent to Ada County landfill. More than 17,000 tons of it is edible food. 1.3 billion tons of edible food is wasted, enough to feed the 805 million malnourished people across the planet. 40% of food waste happens at the consumer and retail level. We don't need to find a solution to food waste. We need to stop being a nation of excess. According to Payne, a professor of international politics and economy, we don't have a food shortage problem. What we have is a distribution problem and an income problem. There are structural issues pertaining to food production and waste, such as lack of transportation, refrigeration, bad roads, or inclement weather. However, we need to find preventative solutions rather than attempting to fix the problem after it's already happened. Implementing strategies to avoid food loss at the beginning of the supply chain rather than scrambling to recover wasted food has substantial benefits. Food costs would be lower and safer work environments could be created for farm and factory workers. Even saving a portion of what is wasted can have a dramatic effect on reducing hunger, malnutrition, poverty, political instability, water shortages, and carbon emissions. Food waste is key to feeding the future world. Something in the area of up to half of all that is produced is wasted. In the undeveloped world, the waste happens before the food gets to people, from lack of roads and proper storage facilities, and food rots. In the developed world, it's the staggering amount of food that's thrown out after it gets to our plates. Estimates suggest that in the United States, 40% of all food goes uneaten, resulting in waste of 160 billion pounds of food each year. If we utilize only 30% of food wasted within the United States, we could eliminate food insecurity in the United States. In order to secure food for the future, we must discuss the imbalance of malnutrition, obesity by looking at the underlying cause. Malnutrition is the imbalance between the nutrients a body needs and the nutrients it gets. This can also include overnutrition, consuming too many calories, and undernutrition. Families faced with inability to grow food or inadequate income to purchase food will likely opt for the cheapest cost per calorie from the available choices. When food prices for basic grains double or triple, the pressures to adjust food purchases increase. If prices of fatty oils and food and sugar and animal sourced foods go down relative to legumes, fruits, and other vegetables, the latter becomes less attractive. These complex changes are reflected in the emergence of obesity alongside hunger, even in the same households. It is not a matter of making healthy choices when given the chance between going hungry or buying prepackaged items that do not contain the proper nutrients. Big food corporations and government subsidies have contributed heavily to the issue of society that is overfed and undernourished. Corporations influence every action of human experience, from diet, air pollution, work, and healthcare to personal identity, sexuality, and governance. Consumers are heavily marketed to, making it seem as if they're in power when the reality is that they're being told what to buy through billions of dollars spent on marketing. This is particularly prevalent in low-income populations. While some are forced to buy heavily processed, subsidized foods, those with higher socioeconomic status and capital can make more informed choices prior to purchasing. Big food wants you to think we need to produce more food, when the reality is we have plenty for the future population. More food doesn't need to be produced to feed the hungry. The supply end of our food system needs to be deconstructed and structures refigured. 1 in 6 Americans are hungry, while 40% of adults and 19% of youth are obese. Food rescue organizations such as City Harvest help salvage unused food. However, those are band-aid solutions. Changes need to be made to the underlying structure, not solutions for problems that already exist. By developing plans to eliminate food waste, future policies can be implemented, then enforced. The food of the future will be healthy, nutrients-rich, and sustainable. Food is plentiful and hunger is satisfied. Together we can combat world hunger and pave the way for a brighter, sustainable future.